Now, in continuing with our book review series of videos, I'd like to introduce a book called The Illusive Play, the Autobiography of the Fifth Dalai Lama. Now, this book has no art pictures. It has no paintings, and I think it only has the one sculpture on the front. And that's it. But the real importance of this book, and by the way, the book is translated by Samten Karmay, and it is an autobiography. The Fifth Dalai Lama wrote this later in life, and also really using his memory a lot to reconstruct things of the past. So not all of the autobiography was put together at the time. Now, this publication is really essential if you're interested in any art that relates to the Fifth Dalai Lama and the Fifth Dalai Lama's biography and relates to the Fifth Dalai Lama in terms of sculpture and paintings that are done later. Because this gives a real insight into what's going on and how he really feels about art. We have a number of examples where he talks about actually sending people or having emissaries go to look for certain types of quality masterwork, art pieces, such as a famous textile achala. Now, in this autobiography, he talks about having found and acquired this famous textile achala, but whether or not it's the one famous one, well known even today, of the kneeling achala, whether it's that one, or whether or not it's a standing achala, also textile, also from the same Yuan period, from the 13th century, we can't be too clear at this point. But the Dalai Lama does talk about it. And then he talks about other things, such as he's asked to write a text that describes clearly the worldly protector Dorje Satrap. And then he explains how he set about to do that, and how he couldn't find any what he considered legitimate texts from the past. He said he couldn't find any legitimate rituals for Dorje Satrap, but believed that the practice came from Tsangpo, or it was related possibly to Bodong Penchen Chokle Namgyal and his teachers. But he said he found an old painting in the Potala, and based on that painting he wrote the ritual text for Dorje Satrap. So this is really fascinating to see how his mind is working when he's asked to deal with iconography and visual culture. Many times he's asked to bless sculpture of himself. So different parties will come and have an interview with him, and they'll bring 6, 8, 10 images of the Dalai Lama himself. And then he talks about this as being very onerous, and it's like, oh my God, I have to do this again. I'm so tired of this. So there's a tremendous amount of insight and factual information based on the Fifth Dalai Lama that can be found in this publication. Now, a word of warning: it is a little bit tedious to read, and it's not because of Samten Karmay's translation. It's just because of the style the Fifth Dalai Lama has written in. It's a little choppy, and you do have to have a bit of a knowledge of the sequence of events and what's going on, because he does flip back and forth from certain things, certain subjects. But all in all, if you are interested in the period of the Fifth Dalai Lama, portraits of the Fifth Dalai Lama that are done at that time in the 17th century, and the Fifth Dalai Lama's interest in art, then this book is absolutely essential. You cannot do without this publication. So I should mention that it's Serindia Publications, and it was done in 2014. And full disclosure, yes, I was at the book launch in Oxford that same year for this important publication. So we'll leave it there. You can subscribe. You can join HAR on Patreon. You can like. and you can also make a donation on the homepage of Himalayan Art Resources.